Egunon guztioi. Egunon. Bai bertaratu zaretenoi, baita streaming bidez.
Good morning, everyone. Hello to everyone here and also those following us via streaming. Welcome to this Creativity World Forum, to the second and last day of this forum. And let's say that we've reached the final port.
Have some exciting events lined up. We will have an inspirational dialogue, the presentation of the main conclusions drawn from the group works, and the recap of the CWF24 so far. Over the last 2 days, we have demonstrated that the CCR are an invaluable asset in constructing a fairer and more equitable world, by organizing and sharing at last our expertise, the diversity of our expertise. We have visited many beautiful places, such as Tabacalera in Donostia, the Balenciaga Museum in Getaria, the Cathedral of Santa Maria in Vitoria-Gasteiz, La Perrera, and the last tour in Bilbao, La Encartada, and the Basque Biodesign Center in Güeñes. Today, I am wearing a detail they created using algae. We would like to extend our sincerest and deeply gratitude to all the actors and agents who have opened their doors to expand our gaze and make this journey possible. Everything that has happened so far has been transformative in some ways. Let's watch a summary video of our visits yesterday. You had a really good time. Ooh, I know that. I'm convinced many of you will visit the other places at some point in the next future. And now it is time to give the stage to the main speakers of each thematic area and DC Living Lab, so they can discuss the main conclusions and the processes experienced in each group. Let's welcome with a big round of applause, of course, to Pierluigi Sacco, Jenny Conmaha, Pascal Cools, Dario Asante, Kaisu Tuominiemi, and Josean Urdangarin as facilitator. Team?
Careful. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Good morning to everyone, and welcome to this session about outlining the main findings. After yesterday's different places, activities, we are going to try today to make a first provisional selection of the main ideas that we have been discussing yesterday in Bilbao, Donosti, and Gasteiz. So, first of all, I should like to thank you to all the participants that has been in the different places sharing your ideas, and actively participating in these thematic areas, and also to the representatives of DC Living Labs. In other sense, also I want to thank the people that has helped us with all the process, the facilitators that has been in the different places, also the people that is under all this structure of this Creativity World Forum, and also to 3Walks that is taking care of all of us. So, let's go. In this panel conversation that will be formal and informal, maybe we are going to interrupt between amongst us, I am going to introduce now a little bit the panel. So, as you see, or as you were seeing in the photo, here we have the 4 main speakers of each of the areas. So, we have Pierluigi Sacco, Jenny Kormacher, Pascal Hulz, and Dario Asante. And we have also, as coordinator of the DC Living Lab and the voice of the students that has been working in the challenges, Kaishu Tuominiemi. Correct?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Jose.
So, let's go with the first part of this journey. A question for all of them, that is, which are the 2 or 3 main conclusions of the working sessions of yesterday? This is the return. Return to you what we have selected in 1 day. In 15 days, we will make the final description of what has happened, and we will give you access to this information to everyone. So you can bring the result also to your countries and use it as you prefer. So, let's go. Kaishu, we begin with the DC Living Labs that has been in all the thematic areas. Mm-hmm. Which are your main conclusions of the day of yesterday?
Of the day of yesterday, and I think of the whole DC Living Labs process, my first key takeaway are the people that I see here, the 32 participants and all the key stakeholders that were part of the process. And for us, it's been the people really make the process. And for us, it has been a validation again of realizing how does the future look like for the industry through young, talented people that not only have amazing skills to face these complex challenges that we put on the table, real challenges, but also went even beyond the expectations in the sense of giving response to those challenges and going beyond what was asked. So for me, the first conclusion for sure are the people, and thank you from our hearts for all the attitude, all the talent that you put on play. And the second key takeaway when we were reflecting is the process. No? Like when you put motivated, talented people in multicultural teams working together with a guided process, it really leverages the outcome. No? And we think that these different ingredients that were part of the Design Living Labs process could be extracted on other similar processes or context as well. And I actually asked one of the teams if I could bring with me one of the outcomes that was one of those outcomes that they went beyond. And beyond the presentation, they actually delivered a research portfolio in a book format, which is really beautiful. Maybe later you can have a glance. And for me, for example, this material is something that could be published or maybe could be even sold and turned into an entrepreneurial project. So we were asking ourselves, what's next? These 4 teams were actually able to build solutions that are real, applicable, that could be taken further. How can us as a network and how can the industry support in the sense of what could be actually next? Where could they get a finance or support or mentor or a program, or how do we go forward from here? And during the conference, we've been also approached by other universities or vocational schools in the sense of, could something like the Living Lab also be taken to those contexts? And we think that there are some key ingredients that would be really interesting to explore also in those places.
Thank you, Kaishu. Very good question. What's now?
What's next?
So we are going to ask to the rest also. What's now? Darío, what's now? She is pushing with the students, with the next generations of researchers. So let's go from education, thematic area.
Yes.
Let's go.
Well, for now, we started creating this map, and yesterday we set the basis of an overview and starting creating models and, for education. And we also reflect on skills, because when we talk the first days, as you remember, we make an introduction about how varied and complex is the CCI sector, in education too, of course. So the work we made during the tables yesterday was very rich in terms of inspiring and open widely these areas of investigation, learning, and transfer of knowledge from companies, from the sector, and to learners. So we identified, of course, due to the challenges, and thanks to the challenges, the first part related with skills, in which the importance of critical thinking and self-awareness and systemic thinking as a part that is transversal area for learning, that every learners in CCIs need to improve, both for school or vocational education. And this is one of the main parts, because this mindset gives students and learners and teachers the methods and the way to overcome challenges in these areas. Exploration and curiosity also is something that emerged in this in our exploration, and the other part related with management, because every skills that we need in terms of leading project in the whole processes, from starting a project and then ground the project and make it feasible. So it's something that we also discussed yesterday, that is a sort of transversal and important competency for everybody working and dealing with the challenges in CCIs. So from management to communication, and from entrepreneurship to funding, so all this capability to work on it, education must give to learners and teachers this kind of skills. But then we also think about methods and models, because it's so true that we focus on student, we focus on learner-centered experiences in terms of learning, and based on lifelong learning, because of course we are learning throughout our lives, and it's key to consider in every models and format we prepare for students. And then, of course, taking care about intergenerational learners, interdisciplinary, international, of course, and we also focus on what is important for education, the dual programs, or more than dual programs, and challenge-based programs, because force people to work on project, work on the way to develop project that is based in CCI.
Okay, thank you. We are beginning to have some answers.
Yeah.
Pascal, what happened? What happened in your thematic area? Tell us a little bit about how can you resume the session of yesterday.
I've never been as happy with a brainstorm where most ideas were the usual suspects. Most ideas existed already. And actually, that's a good thing. I mean, most ideas were about we need more networking, we need incubation centers, we need more training, and we're doing that. I mean, so that's a good thing that that's the expectation, and that this is being done by, well, governments and institutions all over the world. So that's a good thing. Together with the facilitators and Basque DCC, we went through all the ideas, and we chose one per challenge that we found, okay, maybe it's not the most feasible one, could be, but it's an interesting original one. And the first challenge was, okay, how do we accelerate the CCIs, business-wise? And one of the ideas was, and I find it very original, the creation of a supranational network of embassies for the creative and cultural industry. We are going to see the CCI as a nation. And this nation has an embassy in each country. And if you, as a company in the Basque Country, want to go to Flanders and do some work there or find partners, you can go to your embassy. And this embassy promotes the CCI in that country, not only its own CCI, but the whole CCI as a sector. So I found it a really very interesting idea, and it's all linked to the fact that we need to do this on a higher level than just within our region. Because it is one of the most globalized industries there is, so we need to work together on an international level. Second challenge was all about how to find the right business models to enter local and this global market, how to go into the market. And there were several ideas about how can we join forces to do this. And I think that's very important. And later on, I guess we will have the discussion also. I think this is one of the most important things. We need to join forces more. But one of the very concrete ideas was, what if we could have more cooperations or collaborations around the shared service center, where several companies or creatives gather around the shared service center that helps them with all the business operations, the financing, finding money, business development, but also HR and stuff like that. This frees up time for creatives to focus on their creative process, but also to think more strategically. So that's a very interesting thing, and we see it happening. We have an example in Belgium. iPark is doing this, for example. It gathers all kinds of companies around heritage, around this shared service center. So maybe this is a model that we could implement more than we're doing now. And the last one, and for me, it was the most important takeaway, it was around the challenge of how do we get to private investments. And I think the conclusion was that we need to sell our story more, our story as a business more, right? We need to get to a higher level. So we need to get the skills there, from copywriting to how do you visualize your company or your plan or your project, but also we need maybe someone who translates between us and the financial sector. Could it be a business developer? Is it organizations like ours? But we need this translator. And an idea that was mentioned a couple of times in numerous groups, and that links to the first one, this embassy. What if we could create an international platform, an international kind of crowd lending platform where you showcase your creative company, your creative project to investors, banks, and the crowd for money. So those were three ideas that we found really interesting. Overall, it was a fantastic experience, a lot of enthusiasm and dynamism, so really, really a nice day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pascal. Thank you. So, we jumped from the embassy to, are we innovative enough? The area of innovation, Jenny, please tell us what happened there.
I would say yes, we are innovative enough, and I would like to start to thank all the fantastic projects and companies which have presented in our session yesterday, where we could really see fantastic examples from different places, internationally different places, on innovation within our sector. I think one focus for me, which has really changed during the last years, and maybe it's not so surprising, but still it is very important, is that we had so much focus on sustainability. And it's different kind of sustainabilities. One large focus was on financial sustainability, mostly for artists. And I think that is a really, really good development, because when we just look back a few years ago, starting of digitization within our sector, for the music sector was probably the first one out, and the streaming streaming came not overnight, but in that area, the public sector and also the large major companies were not fast enough, and the artists were not organized enough, and so they somehow ended in the end of the value chain and were half forgotten. So I think that's a learning which we've done. I hope so. So we are going forward now into a little more different directions, I think. The other sustainability part is environmental sustainability. It's a lot of focus on a more greener future. And I think one important discussion which we also had, if we are from the public sector supporting innovation, and innovation traditionally is connected to the logic of growth, how long can we still grow? And can we support growth and growth and growth where we have so limited resources, and we know it. So that's a debate which we have to take in the future and really rethink also our values. What do we mean with innovation? What kind of values do we have which are not connected to economic growth? So I think that's a very interesting thought which we have to work further on. And then we were talking about the power of technology and creativity. Also very, very interesting, because we can empower people and democracy through technology, especially when we are talking about more vulnerable groups in our society, which are in need to be heard, to make themselves heard, which have not been heard before. Through technology, they all of a sudden can get a voice and can be helped maybe sometimes also in a different way. A powerful thing, creativity and technology, which we should focus on. And then the last focus area was maybe my favorite. It's about cross-innovation. It's about interdisciplinarity. It's about all of us working more together. And also about our current challenges not being complicated anymore, but mostly from the beginning being complex, which means that we need to collaborate, but we have to learn how to collaborate. And it's very, very easy to say we have to step out of ourselves, we have to collaborate. Everyone is talking about it, almost no one is doing it. And that's still today the truth, and we have a systemic gap in supporting collaboration and knowing how to do it and learning how to do it. I think we really have to unlearn and to relearn how to collaborate for real. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. This cross-fertilization also has happened yesterday when we came back from the street place. In a table of 15 people, more or less, with the coordinators, we try to be a little bit loyal to what we have told us in the groups. And this is a model of governance also. This is a new governance. Some people didn't know each other, from some years we know, but we have to negotiate a little bit how to present these first impacts of these thematic areas. So, Pierluigi, governance, we were there. What happened?
Well, the topic of governance in the case of culture and creative sectors is really a hard one, because we are really at the beginning. And so most of our work was really about exploring possibilities and gaps in the existing panorama. We can make a sort of map of where we are from the point of view of the issues that have not been properly addressed, and there are very many at the moment. So certainly we have a problem of only partial understanding of the dimensions of agency control and goals from the point of view of governance of culture and creative institutions. Then we have burning problems with clear policy implications like fair compensation, of course, of creative professionals, financial sustainability of organizations, digitalization and disruptive tech, and intellectual property. And then we have, of course, the dimension of social impact and social representation, so cultural diversity and representation, the social impacts that, of course, are also beneficial and are not properly internalized in the design of organizations, and likewise for environmental impacts. So starting from this very, very complex and mostly yet to be addressed panorama of possibility, there has been a very, very serious debate exploring many different directions. One of the aspects that I think emerged very clearly is that, okay, culture and creative sectors are industries, but they are not only industries, and this is something that, especially in a moment in which there is a big push in emphasizing the industrial dimension of cultural creative production to gain legitimization, to attract investment, all things that are absolutely important, and of course not to be underplayed. Also, at the same time, it's very important to understand that cultural production is also a very, very crucial element of the social fabric of our living together. And there has been a very interesting debate about conviviality, for example, the fact that culture is very much also about designing the environmental conditions for humans to be together. And for example, also starting from the African experience from this point of view, the African also cultural roots, this idea, for example, of radical hospitality in the sense literally of embracing the diversity as something that is a mutual enrichment, which means, of course, sharing resources, but also sharing mental space, sharing attention, sharing coexistence. These ideas, I think, are very powerful and are completely not translated at the moment into the current debate on governance. And probably this is where culture could really make the difference, because these kind of gaps are not only plaguing, of course, the cultural sphere, they're plaguing much more the social and economic sphere today. But in terms of concrete proposals, we have basically, after a very long pruning and deliberation, but we have arrived at a few proposals that are also try to be concrete in specific elements of this very, very rich canvas of possibility. One is to consider the dimension of corporate social responsibility as important, not only in terms of, as we have done so far, in terms of course, creating opportunities for partnerships and financing of cultural initiatives by the corporate world, because of course there is a lot of art washing in the corporate world, and this clearly creates opportunity for financing. But that's not, of course, the main purpose. The main purpose is to take this concept of responsibility also on the corporate side as a real pillar of our culture, and this means translating the notions of corporate social responsibility into educational programs, and especially in terms of what art can make from this point of view. A second topic that is more related to the livelihood is the condition of freelancers. So this is a problem that is, of course, transnational, probably global, and creating new measures, for example, to support the welfare issues of freelancers across sectors and across countries, creating a common framework for this. This could be a very, very important and concrete governance challenge. And finally, the idea is to work also in indicators and impact. And of course, we know about indicators. It's becoming sometimes even annoying, but the problem is not the proliferation of indicators. The problem is creating the evidence that makes the difference. So from this point of view, what is really needed is to seek in funding and more generally legitimizing the idea that what we need is longitudinal studies about what's happening in the sector. So following the development of certain processes across time, because that's the only way to gain real causal evidence of processes. And this is important not only because it makes us more accountable, but because it makes us understand better what's happening. Because in many cases, let's face it, we are basically telling stories to ourselves. And we like to make nice videos with people holding balloons and smiling, but that's not the proof of anything. We really need to create conditions in which we understand how we can make the difference. So, I mean, these are just a scratch on the surface, but I think that there are a few concrete proposals that could be actionable and especially could shift a bit the debate and create more responsibility on the side of cultural production in making concrete proposals, because this is basically what is missing now. Sometimes we speak a lot, but we do not really make clear proposals and provocations that can be addressed, and especially as far as governance is concerned, that's indispensable to advance.
Thank you, Pierluigi. Thank you. Very important, the goals of the governance. Okay, let's go from what happened yesterday to what is going to happen in the next 5 years. So, looking to the future, and with the aim of articulate stronger CCI sectors, I am going to ask to every one of you one idea for the next 5 years, which is the main idea that can help to the CCIs to be better structured and developed in a short, medium time. So, here I let you decide who is going to begin. So, first arrive, first talk. Let's go.
I'm willing to start.
Go for it, Pascal.
Has to be someone. Banking on what Pierluigi said, that the CCIs is not only an industry, not only an industry with an economic objective. That's completely true, right? I mean, the products and the performances and the works of the CCIs define us as humans. That's, I mean, the music you like, the books you read, determine your personality and vice versa. So they are absolutely essential to who we are and differentiate us from the other species on the world. So that's very clear, right? The value is there. But we're not only an industry, but we are also an industry. And we tend to forget that sometimes. So I think we need to quit whining about it somehow, that yes, we are also an industry, right? And it doesn't mean you need to sell out, that you need to be different. Please be you, do what you do, but take into account that you are also working in a kind of industry. So that's one thing, that's a mentality, it's the balancing of both values. But for me, the most important thing that we need to do in the next 5 years is to join the forces. We talk about the CCIs. The CCIs is architecture, is music, is performing arts, is design, it's fashion. And I see it everywhere, in most places in the world. Every one of these subsectors feel that they are special and they are the only ones, and they have very, very specific needs that are exclusive to them. My claim is you have to join forces. Young people now are graffiti artists making music, are in fashion, and they are in a performing arts collective. I mean, they're not being held back by these silos anymore. That's one. Secondly, together, if I take my own region as an example, together you're with 178,000 people in Flanders, a region of 6 million. If you go separately towards policy, towards other sectors, you're way smaller. You need the amount of, you need the high numbers sometimes, right? So I really feel that this sector needs to join forces, need to present themselves also as DCCIs. And of course there are separate challenges and specificities. Of course there are. And during COVID we saw this. in Belgium. The CCIs, together with restaurant business and pubs, were the ones with the biggest impact. The restaurants and the pubs, they united. They had one spokesperson, one guy, he was in the news every day. And he got things done by the policy. The CCIs, they were scattered all over the place. They didn't speak with one voice. And so it took them months and months and months to get heard by the policies. So, yeah, joint forces, that's what we really need to do in the next 5 years.
Okay, let's go.
Can I
Okay.
connect to that? I just also wanted to say the joint forces is really, really important. I think also for our sector to get into the center of society and really in the development of our society and also other sectors. I think we are in a really difficult situation in the world right now. We have so many challenges going on. Especially war and different places and the climate crisis. And I think that they really believe that the cultural and creative industries can play a crucial role towards a more sustainable and better society. You mentioned the example of the radical hospitality, opening up. If we have concepts like that coming from the cultural and creative industries, really radically open up, embracing each other, doing something together, the cultural input, the cultural social input on our society. Also allowing, for example, the cultural and creative industries to have concrete input to new policies, and opening up from the public side, from the public sector side and from the political side. How can we work together with the cultural and creative industries to change our structures within society? I think then we can go into a better direction. And it's a hard way, but we have to join forces. That's the first step. Join forces within the sector to get more powerful and be in the center of change.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just really wanted to second that, and I liked a lot the sentence that you used earlier, Jenny, on the sense of like, what does it mean collaboration for real? And I think this was, and I fully agree with both of you in the sense of like, that's the direction, and I think it's been the heartbeat of the conference itself. How can we embrace and build more bridges and collaboration, but also which are the skills that we need in order that to be real. And I think that was a conversation that we really had yesterday on the thematic area 4 on what does that collaboration require, or we kind of take that for granted. So how do we build that empathy, those ways of meeting in the middle, ways where each one can come from that authentic ways of being that, Pascal, you were mentioning, but put it in the middle and somehow build that collective ego and collective intelligence to build those proposals to life. So my thoughts were taking us back to there.
Yes, because education is key in this part, but not only for the future, for future learners and future people that started in educating in CCI management or CCI culture, but also for creating these tools for collaboration right now for the actual sector. So I think that in this way, education could be transversal and operating in both level, from the beginning, from new talents, but also for reskilling, upskilling people working in this. And with this self-awareness about industry and management, that is key to understand that culture is supported by. So this kind of awareness of what is important to manage what we do, what we create, is something basic and necessary to cross every discipline.
I am totally in line with what was said about this necessity for systemic cooperation. I would like to stress another trend that I think in the next 5 years will become really disruptive for the culture and creative sectors, taking again the mention that was made of collective intelligence. what we are discussing a lot about the consequences of AI and so on. But what we are not discussing, and probably for the CCIs this will be the truly disruptive implication, is that although that was already in some sense happening with digital, but the way in which we have tackled and developed the digital platforms model did not really tap into the opportunity. What's happening with the AI is that we will basically witness the disruption of the notion of individual authorship. So the idea that there is an individual authorship with AI is ridiculous. Nobody can really claim that you have an idea and that you defend this idea with your own, identifying with your own mental processes, aesthetics, and so on. As a consequence of this, one could say, oh, okay, but this is a big damage. We are basically shaking the pillar of what is culture and creative production. In the first place, it's about authors. No, that's not the case. Authorship has been invented relatively late in the cultural history of humanity. The point is exactly content, and we have been a super cooperative species for such a long time that what is really making the difference and could make the difference is collective intelligence at a new scale. So one of the really interesting implications of AI is that it makes a sort of irreversible transition towards an idea of collective intelligence that, by the way, could have extremely interesting implications, for example, for problem solving. When we speak of radical hospitality, for example, we are in some sense sensing the idea that if we do not create a more, let's say, convivial attitude, more socially oriented attitude in the fabric of our societies, we are crumbling down, because this is what's happening with things like climate change. I mean, the consequences of this will be so big in terms of our daily living that if we do not create a new notion of conviviality, of course, we will not survive. But the point is, can we imagine that a single person, however intelligent, can make really definitional transformational proposal to tackle problems like this? The answer is no, realistically. Not even the most intelligent humans could be able alone to have the idea. But the point is that this transformational force of collective intelligence can make the difference. In this regard, culture and creative sectors can really become one of the powerhouses of this new approach to global problem solving. But this means that we have to abandon very comfortable old ideas, and the first one to be dropped will be individual authorship.
Okay. So we go to the last round, a quick round, and this we go to the personal. What are you taking with you home from this Creativity World Forum, and what you should underline, but something related to you as persons? So, this is more challenging, maybe.
I'm not going first.
So, also, up to you. In your case, it's a little bit more difficult. You have to speak for the students.
Wow.
And think about what you think they are taking with them home. So,
Panel?
Okay, I start, so I break the ice. Apart from lots of good food and probably a couple kilos more, I had the privilege to be part of this process from the very beginning a few years ago. What I really take with me is how much difference it makes to prepare projects and events like this with this very long-range planning attitude, and the idea that in the future probably we need less and less one-shot conferences just organized out of the blue with people just speaking. And we really need these processes of fine-tuning and collaboration and coordination. I think that I will bring this experience with me, and probably will become also a guide and a model of how to design in the future conferences and projects. And I think I really learned a lot from this.
Not to be that guy, but yeah, what he said. You guys were more German than the Germans. So it was so well prepared. It took months, so many meetings also, but it was really with the goal. Adding to that is what I find really interesting from this forum now is, and I've experienced a lot of them, is the number of organizations that are involved here with the organization of this forum. So it seems that the whole Basque country that has something to do with the cultural and creative industries was somehow involved in creating this forum. And I think that is so important because, yes, you give an experience to these people, but you're also creating a bond between organizations in your own region. And I think using a conference like this as a catalyst to make relationships between all those organizations, private and public, I think that's a very, very interesting idea. So, yeah, kudos.
Thank you. Well, I bring home especially this energy from local region, from local culture, spread in an international environment. So, starting from the local, starting from this marvelous art and birth, to a more overview in a global scenario. No? So it's so powerful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to you.
Yeah, maybe I also, I think also for me, I'm getting more connected to the Basque country, and of course it has something to do with this long-term preparation of this event and getting to know all the people really in detail. And someone said to me 2 days ago, like, yeah, but you really know the Basque country, and it was like, I've not even been out of Bilbao. but then the answer was, but you know the Basque people and the Basque policy. And I felt like, yes, I really do. And so this something has really started. And then also, of course, even if we have to be a little self-critical, I think that as well, and I implement me because I was part of the preparation. This is a World Creativity Forum, and we are very Eurocentric, all of us working here in Europe, I think. We try to reach out, and I think I'm very, very happy about my new friends from Africa, which I got during the last days, and so many good talks. As soon as it is an international talk, I get so many new insights and new ideas and really inspiration. And I think we should continue that a lot and try to lift our view and look above the horizon a little more, our European horizon, and see, because we have such a small planet. On the other hand, it's big and small at the same time, but we really have to collaborate all around the world now. And so I'm also really taking this connection of being very local here and connecting with the people here from Basque country to the world. And this within our sector, it's a fantastic mixture.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, from my side, yeah, to speak in the name of the team, I hope on the coffee break you're going to ask them as well, but I will do my best thinking on the conversations we have been having. So I think and I hope that the team is bringing home new tools of future thinking, design thinking, but I hope especially of that collaboration for real, that at least we've felt each other, the togetherness that was done, but also the connections that can grow in the future from each other and from the whole forum, conference, and the experts that you have been mingling with. The real results that we're so happy and so proud of. And I do hope that future opportunities. So it would be really, really a dream for us that it doesn't stay here and that we take that what's next to what really can emerge from here based on what you guys want to get your hands on. So that from my side.
Thank you, Kaisho. Thank you. So this is a little bit This was the aim of this Creativity World Forum, the global participation, to mix people, to go out of our comfort areas. So I have to thank you, the 5 panelists that you are here, a little bit your proactive sense of participation, and also all the help we have received from you now and in the last 4 or 5 months that we have been preparing all this. So thank you very much, and I hope also for you participants, we have tried to bring here a little bit the future and how to answer to these new students that are facing new challenges for the future. Thank you very much. Eskerrik asko.
Thank you.
Thank you for your generosity, for your willingness. It has been a great pleasure having you around, learning from your wisdom, and the network we have woven lasts undoubtedly forever. Danke, kiitos, grazie, eskerrik asko, muchas gracias, and tak. Eskerrik asko.